It was just another freezing night out in rural Montana. Logan had been driving for hours. All he wanted was to get home, pour some hot coffee, and shut the world out for a while. Then suddenly, a curve, icy road, and someone, right in the middle of it. She was lying there in the snow, hurt, unconscious. No ID, no name, nothing, just that look. Like she was running from something even she didn't understand. Logan could have kept going, could have called it in and moved on. But he didn't. He stopped, and in that moment, without knowing it, he saved someone the world had already given up on. What he never expected was that this woman with no past would become the love of his life, and that, to love her, 3 hearts would have to break before any of them could heal. Asterisk, it was a freezing winter night in Montana, and Logan Carter just wanted to get home. He was exhausted. Over 10 hours on the road, listening to the hum of the engine, trying to drown out his own thoughts. The road was empty, buried under snow like it always was this time of year. He knew every turn like the back of his hand. But something felt off that night. You know that kind of silence that feels heavier than it should? That's when he saw it. No warning, a figure. A body. Lying right there in the middle of the road. Logan slammed on the brakes, but the truck slid across the ice. His heart nearly burst through his chest. When it finally came to a stop, he jumped out and ran toward her. It was a woman. Lying in the snow, dried blood on her face, clothes torn, her eyes open, but distant. She tried to speak, but no words came. Just that look, some strange mix of fear, pain, and a silent cry for help. She had no ID, no bag, nothing. Just a broken ring hanging from a chain around her neck, like it was the last thing left of who she used to be. Logan didn't think twice. He pulled off his coat, wrapped her up, and carried her to the truck. Her body shook like her soul had been ripped out too. He glanced back at the road, then at her, and felt that tightness in his chest. That feeling you get when life throws a decision at you that you didn't ask for, but can't walk away from. In that moment, without knowing why, he knew he couldn't leave her there. And just like that, it all began. Logan had seen pain before. He'd lost people. He'd buried silence deep inside his chest. But nothing prepared him for the quiet in that cabin after he brought her in. She didn't say a word for 2 days. Not because she didn't want to. She couldn't. She'd wake up in panic, gasping like she was drowning in her own memories, then fall back into sleep, exhausted. Her eyes moved fast behind her lids, like someone stuck in a dream they couldn't wake up from. He gave her a name, Grace, because when he looked at her, broken, trembling, but still breathing, it felt like something sacred had survived. Grace. She'd flinch at sudden noises. She didn't eat much. She stared at the fire for hours, as if the flames might spell out her past. Logan tried not to ask too much. He made soup, left water by her side, kept the fire going, and sat across the room, quiet, present, waiting. One night, just after midnight, she whispered something. "Do I know you?" Her voice was hoarse, barely there. But it hit him hard. He didn't know what to say. The truth was, he didn't know her at all. But somehow she was already part of him. "No," he said gently. "But maybe that's not what matters right now." She looked away, eyes brimming with something between confusion and grief. The next morning, he found her in the kitchen, holding a photograph. It was old, tucked behind a cabinet door. His father and mother on their wedding day. Grace stared at it like it meant something to her, or reminded her of something she couldn't quite reach. "I feel like I've been in love before," she murmured, "but I don't know who, or where, or if it ended." Her voice cracked. Logan felt his chest tighten. He didn't touch her. He didn't move closer. But in that moment, something shifted. Not between strangers, between souls. Later that day, he found something in the pocket of her torn coat. a folded piece of paper, soaked and worn. Part of a letter. Only a few words were legible. Please come home. He needs you. Logan stared at the note for a long time. He didn't tell her. Not yet. That something in his gut told him. This wasn't just about memory loss. This was deeper. There was a reason she'd been on that road, alone. A reason no one had come looking, and now she was here with him. And the more he tried to convince himself it was just temporary, the more he didn't want it to be. The days passed slowly in that cabin. The snow outside didn't let up, and the world seemed to slow down just for the two of them. Grace was walking better now, talking more. But still, she felt like an unfinished puzzle. Every now and then, she'd pause mid-sentence, like she'd tripped over a memory she didn't want to reveal. Logan pretended not to notice. They fell into a strange, quiet routine. Morning coffee. Short walks around the cabin. At night, made-up stories by the fire. He'd talk about his life, and she'd listen like it was a movie. She said she wanted to remember, but was scared of what she might find. What if I don't like who I used to be? That question echoed in Logan's head. He'd felt that shame before. Wanted to erase pieces of himself too. But with her, things felt cleaner. Like starting over was somehow possible. One afternoon, while Grace slept, Logan opened the drawer where he'd hidden the letter he found in her coat. The handwriting was firm, urgent, full of emotion and pain. Isabelle, please come back. Not for me, for him. He asks about you every day. I don't know what else to tell him. Isabelle. The name cut through Logan like a knife. He read the letter again and again. His throat tightened. She wasn't Grace. Someone was waiting for her. Maybe a husband. Maybe a child. Logan closed his eyes, leaned back against the wall, and breathed deep. Part of him wanted to tell her right then. Show her the letter. Say her real name out loud. But another part, the one that hurt more, wanted to keep the secret. Just a little longer. That night, Grace hummed a melody near the fire. A soft, aching tune that felt like it came from somewhere deep inside her. Logan didn't say a word. He just listened. But miles away, someone else heard it too. In a small New York apartment, a man froze as he heard that same song playing. Faintly during a TV segment, his face went pale. His hands began to shake. No, it can't be. He knew that voice. Even after 2 years, her name still lived in his dreams. Isabelle. The weather started to shift. Not just outside. The snow was finally easing up, but inside the cabin too. Grace was smiling more, sleeping better, and Logan, he was trying not to get attached. But it was too late. They laughed together, talked about nothing, like the whole world had shrunk to fit inside that room. She felt at home. And he, no matter how hard he tried, couldn't imagine life without her anymore. But the letter was still hidden, and that name, Isabelle, pressed against his chest like a secret growing heavier by the day. On Christmas night, Grace did something unexpected. She sat down at the old piano, Logan's mother's piano, untouched for years, and began to play. A soft melody paired with a lullaby. Her fingers trembled, but the music flowed as if her body remembered what her mind had forgotten. Logan watched in silence. It wasn't just beautiful, it was intimate, familiar, like watching someone's soul slowly unlock. Miles away in New York, Marcus Blake heard the same melody on TV. It was just a light-hearted end-of-year piece about a snow-covered village. But in the background, that music, that voice, it's her. He froze, his heart pounding like it hadn't in years. He rushed to the screen, rewound the segment, turned the volume up. Isabelle ... 2 years. 2 long years since she disappeared. Since the last time he held her hand on that icy road. Everyone told him to move on, to accept the loss, to bury the love. But now, he knew she was alive. Marcus Blake didn't sleep that night. The melody kept echoing in his head, like a ghost whispering, "She's alive." He spent hours digging through forums, social media, trying to trace that silly year-end news segment, until he found it. A small report filmed in a village up in the Montana mountains. He froze. Montana, the same place she disappeared, where the car flipped in that damn snowstorm, where she was taken by rescuers and never seen again. This can't be a coincidence. He started calling police stations, hospitals, local radio stations. He made up stories, said he was looking for a cousin, an old friend, anything to get some information. Until, during one of those calls, someone said, "Oh, you must be talking about the woman with no name. Found her on a rural road a few weeks ago. No one knows where she came from. Marcus could barely breathe. Where is she now? She's been with a guy. Logan Carter, I think. Lives in a cabin near Red River, real isolated. Hardly anyone out that way. Logan, a name he'd never heard. But now it was his only lead. That same night, Marcus packed his things, got in the car, and drove almost 2,000 miles of highway, stopping only for gas and to wonder if any of it made sense. But every time doubt crept in, the melody came back. Her voice, the hope, and the pain. Back at the cabin, Logan was beginning to understand what he felt. It wasn't just attraction, it was love, but also guilt and fear. Because deep down, he knew Grace wasn't his and someone, somewhere was coming for her. The snowstorm finally stopped. The sky, once gray and heavy, now let in soft rays of sunlight. It felt like the world was preparing itself to reveal the truth. Grace spent more time alone. She'd stop in the middle of the room, eyes scanning the space like she was waiting for something to wake her memory. Logan tried to keep things light, but inside the tension kept building. He couldn't hide how he felt anymore. And he also couldn't keep hiding what he knew. The letter was still there, untouched, but heavier every day. Logan had almost told her, almost handed it over, but before he could, it happened. That afternoon, Grace opened an old wooden box tucked in the corner of the room. It had belonged to Logan's mother. Inside, among faded photos and yellowed notes, was a small music box. She wound the key, and the melody began. It hit like lightning. Grace stumbled backward. Her hands shook. Tears welled in her eyes. She dropped to her knees and cried. But not out of fear. This was a different kind of cry. One of someone who finally remembers. Isabelle. She whispered. The memory came crashing in. The car spinning on the icy road. The screams, the pain, her husband's face, her child's voice. Everything. She saw herself running, but didn't know from what. Only that she had to go back. Logan found her on the floor, clutching the music box. "You remembered?" She nodded silently. And in that moment, he knew. She was no longer just Grace. She was Isabelle Blake, a mother, a wife, a woman with a history and people waiting for her. Logan walked to the drawer, pulled out the letter, handed it to her, hands trembling. "I should have told you earlier. I'm sorry." She read it and cried harder. Then came the pain for both of them. Because to love her now meant letting her go. Marcus arrived at the cabin by dusk, his headlights cutting through the low fog. When Logan opened the door, he already knew who it was. No questions needed. Isabelle sat in the armchair by the fireplace. When she saw Marcus, time stopped. Her eyes filled with tears. Her body froze. For a second, she didn't know whether to run, cry, or disappear again. But when he said her name, Isabelle, in that familiar voice, everything inside her collapsed. They embraced. It wasn't a joyful reunion. It was an embrace full of pain, of things unsaid, of scattered memories returning in waves. "I thought you were dead," Marcus said, voice cracking. "So did I," she whispered back. Logan watched from a distance, silent, heartbreaking. Later that night, The three of them sat down together. The atmosphere was heavy, surreal. Isabelle tried to piece together her own story. Marcus told her their son, Ethan, was now living with her parents in Boston, that he still asked for her, that he never stopped believing she was alive. That truth shattered Isabelle. A son, a boy she couldn't remember, but who was still waiting for her. Logan felt the ground disappear beneath him. He tried to hide the pain, but it leaked through his eyes. He knew it was the end, and still, he helped. Told Isabelle she needed to go. That love sometimes meant having the courage to let someone return to what was already theirs. She cried, apologized, said she never meant to hurt him. He smiled, eyes wet, and replied, "But you healed me, even if you don't know it." That night, Logan slept alone, for the first time in weeks. And in the next room, Isabelle stayed awake, caught between two hearts. Isabelle left at sunrise. Logan stood on the porch, watching the car disappear through the frost-covered trees. He didn't cry. He'd cried all he had the night before. Silence returned to the cabin, but it wasn't the same silence. Not of emptiness, but the quiet of something real having come to an end. Marcus drove Isabelle to Boston. During the ride, she stared out the window in silence, like she was trying to rearrange the pieces of a life that no longer fit. When they arrived, Ethan was playing in the grandparents' yard. He had grown. 2 years can do that to a child. Isabelle stepped out slowly. When he saw her, he froze, watched her, unsure, then smiled. "Mom?" She dropped to her knees, held her son like she'd never let go. Cried from the soul. That night, Isabelle tried to sleep beside Marcus. But something had changed. His touch, his scent, his presence. All familiar, but it no longer felt like home. It felt like the past. Marcus felt it too. He knew time had shifted everything. That their love, though once real, now carried quiet fractures. "You love him, don't you?" Marcus asked. She didn't answer, just closed her eyes. And that was enough. The next morning, Isabelle packed her bags, kissed her son gently, promised she'd come back always, and told Marcus she needed to find herself again, not in the past, or in what was lost, but in what had been born in the snow. She got on a plane to Alaska. The snowy Alaskan landscape felt like another world. The wind was harsher, the silence deeper, but Logan found peace there. He worked on the oil rigs, lived quietly, expecting nothing more than the next sunrise, until one morning, as he walked between storage units, he saw a figure, someone standing by the fence, eyes locked on him. It was her. Isabelle. Not in tears, not dramatic. But certain. She walked slowly toward him. Calm face, steady eyes. "I didn't come back because of the past," she said. "I came back because my heart couldn't move forward without you." Logan didn't speak, just looked at her, eyes glistening, body still, as if the world had paused for this exact moment. "I remembered everything," she continued. "My son, Marcus, the pain. But I also remembered what I felt here. With you, what we built without meaning, too, and what kept hurting after I left." She held out her hand. "I don't want to erase my past, but I want to choose my future." Logan finally moved, took her hand, and held her like she was made of memory and miracle. Months later, Ethan came to Alaska for the holidays. Logan met him with quiet nerves and a cautious smile. Isabelle introduced them with her heart pounding. Ethan looked at Logan, thought for a second, and asked, "Are you the man from the story Mom told me?" Logan smiled, heart full. "I hope I am." That day, the cabin was rebuilt. And in the middle of the snow, the love that once seemed impossible finally found its home.